The NFL was so intent to get the revolutionary new formation to the kickoff through last week that there are some loose ends.
Yeah.
That, as it was presented in a one-page summary that came out of the league meetings, they are going to work with the special teams coordinators, the officiating department. They may have some changes, some adjustments, some tweaks in May. Now, you still have to get 24 owners to go along with it, but I feel like they have the owners in the mindset where they made the case. The commissioner seems to be more powerful than ever. Whatever he wants, he gets. He got that pushed through last week. As we heard the clip from John Mara going into Tuesday from the Monday sessions, if they twisted enough arms on Monday night at the cocktail party, they would get another vote and get to where they needed to be. They got to 29 yes, 3 no. And this is the wrinkle that someone raised with me when we did the show on Friday. The idea that because the penalty on the try, any penalty on a scoring play, a touchdown, gets enforced on the try, you can't defer it to the kickoff as you previously could. Any penalty on the try doesn't get deferred to the start according to the NFL.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
According to the NFL,
right.
Any penalty on the try gets enforced on the kick. But the problem is, if we have the graphic, with the penalty on the kick, nothing changes except the spot of the kick. So the little brown dot there, which kind of looks like a piece of cooked Taylor ham, that thing is going to move 5 yards or 15 yards. Everything else, the X's and the circles, stay where they are, which creates no disincentive for the defense on the try to avoid a penalty.
Right.
Because anything they do on that play is only going to move the kick point. It doesn't change anything else. And because the play doesn't start until the ball is caught, as I said when we first recognized that wrinkle, why would you even take the penalty? Why would you move the spot where your kicker's practicing putting it from the 35 into where he puts it in the landing zone? Now you're going to make it a closer shot when he's used to the 35. Now you're going to make it harder for him. You're going to give him something different. So that creates the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I look, and coaches need to be very careful in how they articulate this, because obviously they're not going to be trying to hurt the kicker, but if you want to get inside the kicker's head, I mean, how do they always get inside the kicker's head with that late timeout? No, you know how you get inside the kicker's head? We're coming to block the kick, and if we happen to take you out in the process while we try to block the kick, so be it. Yeah. Give us a 15-yard penalty, because it doesn't matter, because it doesn't change anything as it relates to the next play.
Right. No, they gotta fix that, certainly. Right. That's not right. That's you can't have an unlawful play where it's just like, it's the Wild West, screw everything, no rules apply on this play, right? That makes no sense. It goes back to a little what you said last week about the NFL, I think, being a little clunky and, getting out the details, figuring out the finer details, all of that. Because, as what we've seen to this point and everything we've gotten information on, that's the way it stands. But as you know, and I texted you on Friday, I had some special teams coaches text me, and apparently they know something more than we know, or we've been led on to believe right now.
Or they don't. Or they don't.
Or maybe
they don't. Because I went to the league and I asked that question, and they said that's not the case.
Yeah,
you can't defer it to the start of the next drive.
I know. I don't know what's going to happen there, because I have like the text in front of me right here, and of course I'm not going to expose, but this is two different special teams coaches who were pretty clear with me that after the kickoff, yes, you can move the kick spot like you talked about, which, like, to your point, makes no freaking sense anymore. Like, if the ball, you can't go until the ball touches the receiver's hands. What the hell? We're just to watch the ball kick it higher, and we go, oh, wow, that was a pretty one. That went higher.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Unless it's such a great returner to now you're insured to just get the touchback, and you just go, we're fine with that. That would maybe one, like maybe Tyreek Hill's already returned 2, and they're like, all right, you know what, we will kick it from the 50 and just make sure it's in the end zone and it's a touchback, right? Maybe that'd be some value.
Every team has a kicker that can get a touchback.
For the most part, right? Exactly right. I know.
Yeah.
For the most part, you're exactly right. I was just giving a little bit of a for instance there. But I was led to believe also in these texts that, yeah, if there was going to be a penalty roughing the kicker on the PAT, that, like, let's say there is a touchback, okay, you get the ball at the 30, they can enforce the penalty after that now and let them have the ball at the 15. That's the way it was described to me. But, Mike, I mean, I'm with you. I don't know what the hell to believe here. The NFL obviously has let out information that we have seen that doesn't really talk about that. I have special teams coaches who I know and trust, and damn, you know some of these guys too. They're not trying to BS me or anything here, right? And
no, somebody's BSing them.
Exactly.
That's
There's
my
some
point.
disconnect
Somebody's
here.
BSing them.
There's some disconnect, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, right.
Let me take it back to when they first presented this proposal. When I studied it, I raised with someone in the know the penalty issue, and I said, because the first concern was on a touchdown, if you don't have the option to enforce later and it has to be enforced on the try, you may have open season on the quarterback.
Right.
On 4th and goal from the 5. What the hell? We'll just blast him and try to keep him from scoring. And if he does, so what? It goes from the 15 to the 7 for the 1 point. It goes from the 2 to the 1 to the 2 points. So what? The other side of it is this issue of enforcing the penalty on the try. And I was told, well, that's probably something that we'll tweak this weekend, meaning the weekend before they did the vote. The only thing they tweaked was to move the touchback from the 35 to the 30. They didn't tweak anything else.
Right.
So the final product comes out, and this is what I did. I asked the league, what's the procedure for enforcing a penalty on the try? They told me it gets enforced on the kick, not after the kick, not on the first play from scrimmage. And I read what they put out. I asked them, after you said what you told me, I asked them again, are we sure? They followed up with a question for me to make sure I was asking what they thought I was asking, and we are 100% on the same page. According to the National Football League, on the record, a penalty on the try is enforced by moving the piece of tail or ham, not moving the 21 players, just moving the spot where you kick the ball from.
Yeah.
That's it, making it no real incentive to avoid a penalty on the try.
Right.
And that's a hole that they need to plug in May.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they at least, but here, okay, so let's say that we're having a conversation now after the May meetings.
Yeah.
And they have decided that a penalty on the try gets enforced after the kick. So if it's a touchback, it goes to the 15, not the 30. What happens if they return it for a touchdown? What happens if that kick gets returned for a touchdown? You already know, as he's loose. No, he's not. He's not loose, because once he scores, the ball's going back to the 15. There's no other play that I can think of, no other occasion in football where something that happened before the play even started is going to affect the outcome of that play. Now, we've seen free play where the guy jumps offside and Aaron Rodgers knows I can throw it deep, but that's still in the confines of that play.
Yeah.
We'll know if that happens.
Yeah.
If they enforce that penalty on the try after the kick, we'll know before the kick, no matter what this guy does, he ain't scoring a touchdown. It's going back to the 15. That is a weird bridge for the NFL to cross.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely an odd one, right? I mean, have we never had that type of scenario at all? As you're saying it, I'm going, you're right. I guess we've never really, enforced the penalty after the kickoff type of thing. I feel like was a part of the league to a degree at some point. Am I wrong about that, Mike? I mean, maybe I am wrong about it. But yeah, that's an odd scenario. You're right. And there's not many plays like that where it's like, wait, here's this play and we're going to affect this play because of 2 plays ago and what happened there. That doesn't make sense. So they obviously got some things to talk about and remedy here. There's no doubt about that. And as we know here, there's definitely a disconnect right now to what certainly the special teams coaches seem to believe and where the league's at with the language right now, and hopefully they figure it out.
This is what happens when you push something through. without fully considering
right.
the ramifications, the consequences, both anticipated and unintended. That's why I said a week ago, they're not getting this thing through. I mean, it's the longest proposal I've ever seen. How are they going to get this through in 2 days of meetings where, it's not quite a vacation. But it's not like, and yeah, sometimes they do some important business at the league meetings, but this is too much to do in 2 days. This is the kind of thing that cries out for further study, further recommendations, further tweaks, and we'll finalize it in May. They wanted to get the votes, so they know they're going to have the new kickoff, and now they're going to iron out these rough spots, hopefully. I just don't know how you iron this rough spot out.
Yeah.
How do you do it? What do you do that wouldn't be a revolutionary change to the game? And I can think of no situation where before the play starts, we know that the outcome of that play is going to be affected by a penalty that happened before. The only thing is the option to defer after a kick, after a touchdown.
Yeah.
We're either going to apply it on the try or apply it on the kick, but that doesn't affect the outcome of the kick.
Yeah, do we
it
not
affects
have
where everyone's placed.
Adjust the spot of the ball after the kickoff? I mean, I guess that's where I'm getting confused in my own brain.
No,
you're
there's
right.
never been a penalty
I know.
gets enforced and the yardage gets taken off after a play ends.
Right.
Because that would have introduced this possibility of somebody scoring a touchdown and the touchdown coming off the board for something that happened 2 plays ago. That's never been on our radar screen for football. So
they got to think this one out.
They're taking the surprise onside kick away. We know that. They may be adding this weird thing where guy scores a touchdown. No, he doesn't. It's going back to the 15-yard line. So they better figure this out. And
I think that's their only option. I think they got to do it. It's a little weird, but I think it's the way it's got to go. I don't really know. I mean, because like you said, the other one's pointless. This has a little value, and it's still going to keep the play fresh. It's not like the team's still going to go, hey, if we return it, okay. I mean, we're still maximizing it, and yeah, we got to go to the 15. That's the way it is, but I don't know if there's another solution in my brain, at least as it sits right now, that's any better than that.
I don't think there's any solution that would be easy to understand and easily comprehensible by the fans and smooth and natural.
Right.
I've had people suggest different things, and it's too clunky. It's too complicated. You don't want it to be clunky and complicated. You want it to be simple. The basic rules of football are simple. We don't need some sort of, but if there's a roughing the kicker penalty on a try, then this goes to this and this goes to that, and we get out a protractor. And no, they got to mess with this.
Yeah.
And this is their problem.
Right.
They pushed it through without considering everything thoroughly, and we'll figure it out later. Good luck. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.